5 college students, in search of a different kind of thrill, decided to spend their graduation trip inside a cave deep within a primeval forest. Unexpectedly, they unintentionally unearthed a secret buried for over 1,000 years. These were artifacts left behind by the Aztecs, one of the 3 great civilizations of the Americas along with the Maya and the Inca. The Aztecs had unique religious and sacrificial customs, believing that the sun could only retain its power if it was offered human blood.
It is blood.
Yeah, right. 500-year-old blood?
Seeing such a monumental discovery, Amber became convinced that it would be worth a lot of money, so she urged her boyfriend Wesley to help pack everything up quickly. But at that moment, an accident happened. She carelessly spilled all the blood stored in the altar. At the same time, Eva also noticed that something was wrong. The natural light inside the cave was slowly disappearing. When they stepped outside, they found that the once bright sky had dimmed until only the stars remained, and it didn't resemble a solar eclipse because there was no sunlight halo behind the moon. What made things even more terrifying was that the air suddenly grew colder and colder. The sun had vanished from the sky for no apparent reason. The group inevitably began to panic. Through a radio broadcast, they learned that the entire Earth was affected. Some regions had even dropped to -90°C. This made Amber increasingly frightened and desperate to call her parents, but for some reason her phone had absolutely no signal. She grew frustrated and started complaining about who had chosen such a cursed place. Eva tried to comfort her, saying there was no need to worry. At this moment, scientists around the world were certainly more anxious than they were, and would find out what had happened. Just then, Martin, who majored in history, spoke up. Based on his studies, the disappearance of the sun was likely caused by them spilling the sacrificial offering. As modern college students, the others naturally refused to believe such superstition, insisting this was just a coincidence. Wesley even suggested that they should pack up and go home as soon as possible. Eva immediately objected. Walking out of the forest and down the mountain would be dozens of kilometers. Martin followed by mentioning something even more horrifying. If the situation continued at this rate, within 3 days Earth's atmosphere would evaporate into space. By then temperatures would drop to -150°C. This meant they would all freeze to death in the cave, and even worse, the air would gradually grow thinner, so if they simply stayed there waiting, they would be doomed no matter what.
There might be one way out.
Martin believed the root of everything lay in the ruined offering. According to the hieroglyphs carved on the artifacts, the ritual could be restored by sacrificing one person, pouring their blood into the holy chalice and sealing it again. This shocking suggestion infuriated Amber. Eva proposed a compromise. Couldn't everyone donate a little blood instead? Why must one person be sacrificed? While they were still discussing, Martin suddenly discovered a knife beneath a stone. It was obvious that this was the tool required for the ritual.
Oh my god.
Eva stared in disbelief. There's no way one of us really has to die, right? Noah stepped in immediately, telling them not to be foolish like cultists. They were not savage primitives, they should be thinking scientifically. Wesley, though strong in build, was trembling with fear. No one here wanted to die, so wasn't it better to do something instead of sitting there? Shivering from the cold, Eva strongly agreed. Rather than blindly praying for divine intervention, they should gather more wood to keep themselves warm. She continued reassuring everyone that they still had enough water and snacks for several more days, and perhaps the warm sun would reappear tomorrow. In difficult times, unity mattered most. However, things were not looking good. 13 hours later, the radio reported that the global death toll from the extreme cold had continued to rise, and riots were breaking out in many areas. Although the group survived the night with difficulty, the sun did not appear the next morning, and the mood inside the cave grew increasingly oppressive. They worried not only about themselves, but also about their families outside. Just when no one knew what to do, Eva stepped forward. If Martin's predictions were true, then for the sake of saving the world, saving their parents, or at least protecting their companions, they had to make a decision now.